Ferocious battles in Syria inflict carnage and destruction on a daily basis, eliciting ever grimmer assessments on capital. Kerry did not go so far as to advocate American military intervention in Syria, but other lawmakers want the United States to lead an air campaign over Syria, mirroring NATO efforts in Libya last year. Failing to adequately aid Syrian rebels carries risks for the United States, according to analyst James Dobbins.
It would, for instance, be a great mistake to allow the emerging leadership of Syria to conclude that al-Qaeda had done more to help them prevail than did the United States.
Only to increase, perhaps dramatically.
A United Nations spokeswoman in Syria reports anti-Assad forces now possess tanks and other heavy weaponry, boosting dangers to civilians trapped in battle zones. Michael Bowman, VOA News, the capital.
From two suburbs of the capital. Doctors in Turkey say they need more help to treat injured fighters arriving from Syria. Al Jazeera's Andrew Simmons says hospitals in Rehanli are struggling to cope with the large numbers of wounded arriving every day.
Reaching this border that stretches more than 900 kilometers is the only hope for the seriously injured. Yet lives are lost frequently because it takes so long getting here. Many medical organizations believe that could be avoided.
Discharges are being made earlier, and here in Antakya, a hospital run by a charity using limited resources and staff to treat people recovering from surgery. This man says the only way he could walk again is if he has highly specialized surgery on his back. But it's an expensive operation, and it's been ruled out.
I'm injured, and I fought for my country. You see me in this situation. Why? Why can't they use some of the money that comes from abroad? Millions of dollars.
Mohammed isn't alone in thinking that more effort is going into raising money to make war in Syria rather than paying to rebuild the shattered lives it's leaving behind.
Welcome to the Real News Network. I'm Paul Jay in Baltimore. The civil war in Syria has been one of the more difficult stories for the Real News to cover. We don't have anyone on the ground there who we think is doing reliable reporting. Not to say reporters aren't finding slivers or pieces of the truth, but not an overall view of it. It's very difficult to get analysis and takes on Syria that aren't propagandistic for one side or the other. What we know is you have the brutal and repressive Assad regime, opposed by popular opinion throughout Syria, but not all of Syria, and opposed by outside forces, including the brutal and repressive Saudi regime and Qatari regime, and of course all within the geopolitical strategic aims of the United States, vying with Russia and other outside powers, including Turkey and others. It's a very complicated situation, so to some extent at The Real News, we kind of haven't been doing much because we'd rather do nothing than just add to the noise and the propaganda.